So we got paid out our distributions this week, and I'm going to go through, update my spreadsheet to find out what my new adjusted price per share is. And I also want to show you a few updates that I've made to the sheet. And once I'm done updating it, I'll make it available to my Discord members. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So today I'm going to update my stock tracker spreadsheet. And as you can see, this will be a Rev 4. It's not yet available. The Rev 3 is still available in my Discord. Rev 4 is still in process because I'm still making some changes. But I wanted to show you some of the suggestions that my Discord members have provided me. And I am in the process of adding those to the sheet. So we'll go through those along with updating all of those distributions that we did get paid out, as some of those were actually a very nice payout. And we'll take a look at those, get everything updated, and find out where my position is currently. So if you enjoy this type of content, please make sure to hit that like button. And if you do want a copy of my spreadsheet, join my Discord. The link is in the pinned comments and in the description below. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And let's take a look at my summary page. And this is my summary page. So one of the things I did add, and I've talked about on my previous video, is the real price per share calculator, which is your adjusted price per share calculator. And that takes into account your distributions. And to use this calculator, you first hit the drop down. It has all of the ETFs that you would have entered into your spreadsheet. It does not show everything. It only shows the ones you've entered. You would select the one that you would potentially want to buy, and we'll just use CONY. And one reason I selected CONY is because it is still red, right? I would not want to select PLTY because currently my real price per share is $5.96, and since the current market price being $55.05, it's going to cause that to raise up. And I don't want to necessarily average up. I always want to average down. So I would want to select one that's red. So we'll use CONY for this example. And I'll use the buy price of that market price. And this is the market price of Friday's close. And that's at $46.53. So I enter in $46.53. And how many shares would I potentially be looking to buy? And we're just going to throw in an arbitrary number of 10 shares. First, it's going to tell you how much it's going to cost. And then it's also going to recalculate and give you what your new real price per share would be. Because currently it's at $57.37 for CONY. But if I bought 10 shares at that current market price, how much would it actually lower my real price per share before I would purchase it? So it's just kind of a little peek into the future, right? So 10 shares at $46.53 is going to adjust my real price per share down to $55.86. Okay, so where it's sitting at $57.37, if I bought 10 shares at $46.53, then it's going to take that real price per share down to $55.86. So that just kind of gives you an idea, and you can see, does that make sense for me to do so? Is it going to lower that real price per share enough for me to put that amount of money into it? So it just kind of really helps you to see how much closer you can get that real price per share down to the market price, as that is the goal, to get it to that market price and then under the market price. At least that's my goal. But none of this is financial advice because I am not a financial advisor. So that's one thing that I have added that will be part of that Rev 4 of my stock tracker sheet. Now, one of the suggestions that was provided in my Discord was to help be able to manage through the sheets. Rather than saying, okay, I want to look at PLTY right here, so I need to find that sheet. And then you would scroll across the bottom, find the one that is for PLTY, click it, and now you would be in that individual sheet for PLTY. And then to go back, you would go back and click the summary page. And that's how you would toggle between the two. So one of the suggestions is to help make that a little bit more efficient and to help be able to find the correct sheet quickly. So what I've done is added a link, and that link will be part of each ticker symbol across here, right? Now I haven't entered them all in yet. As I said, I'm still working on this Rev4, but I wanted to throw a couple in just to show you how it's going to work. So for CONY or PLTY, I've got those entered in, and as you can see, they are links. So if I hover over CONY, it will provide me a little link right here. And if I hover over PLTY, it will provide me a link to PLTY. So for CONY, I hover over the ticker, I go down, I click the sheet, and boom, takes me straight to the CONY individual stock tracker sheet tab. And this is going to help speed things up to help you to find. You don't have to scroll through all those individual ETF sheets. You still can, right? But it will help you to speed up. You can go straight to that individual sheet, and then I've added a tab to get you right back to the summary page. And that's right here. And I've colored it so that it stands out a little bit. But it's the same way. You hover over it and you click it, and now you're right back to the summary page. So I have one for CONY. I've got one for PLTY so far. And if I scroll all the way over, I did throw in one all the way over here for JEPQ, just to show you that no matter which ticker you would actually select, it will take you to that sheet. So we'll do JEPQ, click it, boom, JEPQ, as you can see up here in the top. And this is all of my purchases and distributions for JEPQ, as that is the individual tab that I have for this one. And then I can quickly, again, go straight back to the summary page the same way. Boom. Now I'm right back to where I was at. So this can help to add a little bit more efficiency to this sheet, and also just simply be able to find that sheet quickly. So if you did earn a distribution for one of your ETFs, and I'm going to say for PLTY, right? I can click this, go straight to it, enter my distribution in. When I'm done, go right back to my summary page, and I can go to the next one, right? I don't actually have to say, okay, well, which one of these is the right one? Now, granted, right now, I have mine as the tab names down here as the Simple Stock Tracker 1, Simple Stock Tracker 2, and so on, right? 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 20. Now, you can go in here, and I've showed this before, and you can rename that tab, and you can call it whatever you want. It won't break the links. The only way you'll break the links is if you delete the tab. So don't delete the tab, but you can rename that tab and it will not break the links. I keep it as generic like this so that whenever you would download a copy of my stock tracker sheet, then it is generic for you to update it as you see fit. But now with these links that take you back and forth between the sheets, it really doesn't matter what it's called across the bottom, because you can just always use the summary page as basically your home page, as that is your link to all the individual sheets. Nice, quick, and easy. So that will also be a new feature that will be part of Rev 4. Okay, and again, Rev 4 is not yet available. It is still in process. I'll be looking to get it out before Christmas, but Rev 3, which has all of this same information, it just does not have the calculator and it does not have the links. That is still available in my Discord. But the Rev 4, once it's completed, that will be available in my Discord as well. So I wanted to give a shout out to Mark for offering up this suggestion of linking the pages together, as I really like that suggestion. So that will be part of the Rev 4 stock tracker sheet. So if you have suggestions, not guaranteeing that I can include it, but please offer those suggestions up, as I'm trying to tailor this to your needs. But always keep in mind there are limitations to Google Sheets as well. So now that I've gave pretty much a good update of what is coming on Rev 4, and there's a couple other thoughts I do have that I'm hoping to be able to add into that Rev 4, but we'll see if I can get to that. But now let's just go ahead and let's get our sheets updated, add in those distributions, and let's find out where I'm currently at in all of my positions. Because as you can see currently, I am down on CONY, ULTY, SMCY, and the rest of them, as I scroll over, are all green. So the rest of them, so far as of today, I am still good. But when I enter in my distributions, we'll find out what that adjusts my real price per share to. As you can see on SMCY, my real price per share of $10.25 is not too far away from that market price of $9.57. So I'm excited. Let's just go ahead, jump in, and let's get those sheets updated. So I'm going to start right off right here with the first one of CONY. And CONY did go through a reverse split. Okay, and that was a 1 for 10. And that's 1 share for every 10 shares I had. So that did adjust the number of shares I do have. And if you missed that video of how to account for that reverse split, I'll add that video right here where you can check it out, and it will walk you through exactly how to calculate and adjust your spreadsheet to account for that reverse split. Because come Monday, we do have a few more that will be going through a reverse split. We have AMDY, MSTY, and PYPY will be doing a 1 for 5 reverse split, okay? And the rest of them were on December 1st and December the 2nd. In case you missed that, do check out that video that I'd linked just a bit ago, as that will walk you through of how to get that spreadsheet updated. So as you can see, I've already entered in what that distribution was for this week. And if you check that out, look at this, $1.13. That is awesome. I know the first thing you're going to say is, well, you just did a reverse split, so of course it's going to be more. But I don't think you fully understand that a reverse split 1 for 10, I'm looking for about 10 times of what that distribution was before. So that's kind of the ballpark that I was looking for. And it was at 6 cents last week. I realize that's pretty easy math, but I'm just going ahead and punch it in just to be clear. And you can see that 6 cents times 10 is going to be 60 cents, right? And what did we get paid out? $1.13. Oh, man. That is a huge difference. That is almost double what I was expecting. And if we take that 60 cents times 2, you can see that's $1.20, and we got $1.13. So almost double of what I was expecting. So super excited about that, and I know a lot of people gave up on CONY. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to be the distribution going forward, but what a nice distribution. So we have that $1.13 that we're getting paid out, and how many shares do I get to count? Now remember, we had 625 before, and after that reverse split, they'll end up paying me out on that half a share, because 625 divided by 10 is 62.5. They're not going to give me the 0.5. They'll give me the 62 shares as they're showing in my account, and they'll pay me out that 0.5 in cash, and that will go into my broker account as available cash. So how many shares do I have? I have 62 shares, and since all my purchases are before 12/4, I can account for all 62 shares. So I enter in 62 shares, and when I hit enter, my real price per share of $57.37 now becomes $56.24. Very nice. And as you can see, where I was making about $40, $38, $41 per week, that has increased, and it increased to $70 this week. So like I said, I almost doubled just this week on CONY for that distribution. Would love to see it continue to do that, as if it can continue that $1 a week, wow, I'll be able to knock this payout period here down quite a bit. And it will adjust, as we do need about 3 more distributions before we get an accurate average of those distributions. because this here is still accounting for the 6 cents, and one of those 8 cents right here, because it's the last 4 distributions that makes up this average. So since the reverse split, I was looking for closer to about 60 cents for that distribution, which would be our previous distribution times 10, but won't mind at all if it's going to be above $1, right? I'm not going to mind at all. So that brought it down to 56.24. I'm still red in the play, right? I'm still showing a loss, but I'm only 11% down in the play. Not too bad at all, especially with Bitcoin the way it's been. Let's go to PLTY, and for PLTY, we have not had a reverse split on PLTY. There was not one announced. With the current price of $55.05, there's not one coming anytime soon for PLTY, in my opinion. Now, as you can see, PLTY had a very nice distribution. Our distribution last week was 59 cents, and then it was 72.83, and this week $1.30. Yes, love it, right? Super excited there. So let's just go ahead and enter in our 37 shares, and let's find out what my real price per share will be after entering those 37 shares, as that's how many shares I do have of PLTY. So 596 now becomes 466. That's what I'm talking about. We are getting so close to getting this one paid off, and at an average of about 86 cents per distribution, I should get this paid off in about 6 distributions. And that is an estimate. That is not guaranteed, as these distributions are not guaranteed. But wow, getting super close to getting PLTY paid off as well. Oh, I'm so excited. I hope you're getting this sheet and you're able to enter in those purchases and distributions. And if you're using my method to where I only buy when the market price is under my real price per share, then I'm hoping that you're also able to reduce your real price per share and eventually get your position paid off in these high yield ETFs. Super excited, and I'm happy for you if you are working in that direction as well. And moving on to NVDY, you can see NVDY, we got 16 cents, and that's what we got last week. So that one's pretty steady. We have 71 shares of NVDY. It did not go through a reverse split, so we are good with this one as well. So my real price per share is $12.92. And after entering in those 71 shares, now my real price per share is $12.76. With the current price of $14.69, I'm sitting pretty good with this one as well. Moving it on down, and that's the name of the game. ULTY. Now, ULTY did have a reverse split. And if you did miss that video and the link that I did pop up into this video previously, then I'll also link it to the end and you can watch it from that point. But for this one, I have a total of 33 shares due to that reverse split. So that brings my real price per share from $42.97 down to $42.38. Now, since the price of ULTY is below my real price per share, then if I were to buy shares at the current price, then I will be able to also lower that real price per share even more. And that's the reason it's good to always look at the summary page, as that can help you focus on the ones that will benefit you the most by purchasing. Next, we have MSTY. And for MSTY, I have 475 shares. But one thing to remember, MSTY will be going through that reverse split on Monday, but that does not affect my shares for this week. So next week, I'll be doing a video and showing how I'm getting that sheet updated for MSTY along with AMDY, but it will be the same way as I did in the previous video. So my real price per share, since it is paid off, it shows it as a minus 0.52, meaning that's how much I'm in the good. I owe nothing on MSTY, and if I enter my 475 shares, it takes that 0.52 down to minus 0.65. So I'm moving even further away from that zero. And if I were to buy at the current price, I can purchase about 44 shares because I have about $310.87 available to buy those shares of MSTY at the current price without moving this back to risk. It will stay as paid off status as long as I do not exceed that dollar amount. Now that 44 shares is off of the current price, so as that price does move, you will need to make sure that you're adjusting how many shares that you would purchase if you do want to keep at a certain status. In my case, paid off. So this one here, we're keeping with the paid off status. I'm just gathering up those distributions, waiting for the reverse split, and then I'm going to see how it's going to react. I'll probably give it about a month or so just to see how it's going to react to everything. But currently, I am making money, right? I am $310 over what I actually put into MSTY. I have earned back $310 more than I actually invested. And that's basically what that means. So that's why I say this one is paid off, because YieldMax has paid me back the cost of all of my shares and then some. And it looks like PLTY won't be long before it's going to be in this same category. And now we have SMCY. And SMCY paid out 21 cents. A very nice distribution. Last week was 16 cents. So I'll take it. And we have a total of 70 shares on SMCY. So I'll enter in 70. And that real price per share of $10.25 now becomes $10.03. And with the current price of $9.57, I'm getting even closer. I'm only 3.9% over the current price of SMCY. So I'm working to get it closer and closer, and eventually I'll be looking to pass it and be under that price so that this one too can be green and working toward that paid off status. AMDY. Now AMDY will also be going through that reverse split, so keep that in mind, and that happens on Monday. But that does not affect the distributions here. As long as you own the shares before that X date, you can account for those shares. And that'll be 820 shares for me. And that means that real price per share of $6.77 now becomes $6.62. Staying below the current price means I'm still in the green. YMAX. And for YMAX, I have 758 shares. And my real price per share of $8.24 now becomes $8.14. Current price being $10.70. I'm still good on that one as well. HUI. And check out HUI. Last week we had 73 cents. This week, $1.32. Oh, almost double what we earned last week on HUI. Super excited once again. And I have 48 shares. So I can account for all 48 shares because I own those shares all before this X date of 12/4. So my $53.54 real price per share now becomes $52.22. And you can see I'm continually lowering this because I don't know what the actual price of HUI is going to do. I am under it, but I don't want to be comfortable there. I want to continually lower it so that if price of HUI drops down to $53, guess what? I'm still good. What I mean by good is meaning that my real price per share is still under the current price of the stock or ETF. And all that means is if I were to sell the shares, and that's all the shares at the current price, I will still make money. And currently, if I were to do that, I would make $152. And not too bad for not having this ETF, not even a full month yet. So I'm pretty happy with this one and glad I did jump in. But as you know, I was very patient and I waited for a pullback and for it to trigger my buy points before I got in. And that is also how I know when to actually purchase more shares of the ETF. Not only do I look to see if it's red on my summary page, but I do look to see if it's going to trigger my buy points. And if you missed that video of how I select and what I use for my buy points, I'll add that video right here, and you can go watch it as well, as it goes through the indicators that I use for those buy points. And I use them for the high yield ETFs as well. Now, I only use it if the market price is under my real price per share. So the first thing I always look at, of course, is if this number here on my summary page is red. If it's not red, I'm not buying it. I do not want to average up, because if it's green, that means if I do buy, I will average this number up. And as I said before, I do not want to be comfortable in being ahead of it. I want to continually lower that real price per share, or that adjusted price per share, whichever one you want to call it, as you never know when it's going to drop. So for HUI, I'm still lowering it down, and I'm not buying. Why? Because that current price of $55.40 is above my real price per share of $52.22. A pretty simple strategy, but it's been working for me. Next, we have QDTE. Now, this one here is a round hill fund, and that's also one of the things I have added here, is it will give you the name of the stock along with that current price as before, but now it actually gives you the name of the stock as well. And for this one, I have a total of 155 shares. So my real price per share of $27.69 now becomes $27.30. And I know some of you out there are looking at it and saying, wow, you went down 39 cents and you're happy about that? That's nothing. Well, I beg to differ, because that's in 1 week I have dropped my real price per share down. And no matter if QDTE is going up or down, I'm always moving this down. And I will continue to move it down until it gets paid off. And at that point, then I can decide if I want to use the distribution money that I would earn, and that would be above and beyond my total capital invested, to buy more shares of that ETF if I so choose. But that would be my choice. And since I would have nothing really invested into it, because I have earned back all of my capital in the way of earning those distributions. So they have paid me for those shares, and now I own those shares with none of my money, and they're just paying me a distribution just to hold shares that they've paid for. What an awesome thing to do. So yes, if there are reverse splits, does it really matter? It only matters if I don't have any shares. But outside of that, once it's paid off, that is still free money coming into my account, not accounting for any taxes. Now that's up to you and your tax advisor to determine the taxes. But for me, I'm just looking at trying to get to a point where it's bringing in money. As long as I have risk, as this here gives me my risk, as long as I have that, I'm not making money, right? Yes, I've earned distributions, but if I've paid more for the stock than I've earned in distributions, then I've really not earned anything. Because as you can see, I still have $4,200 at risk. So until that is paid back to me, then those distributions aren't making me money. They're just paying me back my capital. And a lot of people say, well, you're investing in these and all it's doing is just paying you back your money that you put into it. You ain't making anything. Well, that's absolutely right. I'm not. Until I get all of that paid back. Then all those distributions from that point on is 100% free and clear, not counting any taxes. So name any other investment that you can do that with, as I don't know any. Now that does not mean that you need to jump all in on these high yield ETFs, as you do have to give them respect, because if you do not play them right, they can destroy your account. And that's why my method helps to give you the best chance to stay ahead of any price declines. And in some cases, you're just trying to stay up with the price decline. And that is just how it is, as it does matter when you buy in, because that price affects your average. These are not growth stocks, so it is not a buy at any time, DCA into these, because these do not go up overall in price like a growth stock would. These you have to play very carefully, but if you do play them right, they can be profitable. And moving on to IWMY, and for IWMY, we got 15 cents and I got 551 shares. And that means my real price per share of $16.76 now becomes $16.60. Bringing it on down, and at the current rate, this one here is going to be about 87 more distributions before this would get paid off. Once it does get paid off, then those distributions would be free and clear and straight in my pocket as money I am earning. Yes, that is a long time, a little over a year, right? Almost a year and a half, but that's okay. If it can continue the way it's going, then eventually that money will be going in my pocket. And that's my goal. QQQY, I have 551 shares at that 16 cents distribution. And therefore the $21.38 real price per share now becomes $21.21. Staying below the current price, I'm good. WDTE, I've got 540 shares, 18 cent distribution. My real price per share, $27.98, now becomes $27.80. And JEPQ is a monthly payer, and it's already paid out the one for December, so there's no update on JEPQ. So my real price per share of $3.16 still stands. But with the current price being at $58.82, I only need 7 more months at roughly 47 cents per distribution, and I will get JEPQ paid off as well. And that pretty much wraps up all of the ones that I have. And I can quickly go back to my summary page by simply clicking back to the summary. And now I'm back here. I did not have to scroll through, so I love this new feature. So once I get it added to all the other individual sheet tabs, I'll be able to get this out. And like I said, I'm shooting for getting this out before Christmas so that everybody can get the Rev 4, get it updated, and be ready for the new year. And like I said, if you would like to get a copy of this spreadsheet, Rev 3 is available in my Discord. So I'm happy about the new changes, some of the new features, and I'm hoping to get a few other things on there if I can get to it. But as you can see right here on my summary page, if I were to sell all 14 of my ETFs, I would be able to clear $17,122. And that is selling out of every single one that you see here at the current price. That's not too bad of a deal, right? Yes, I've got a good bit of money invested. As you can see, there is $136,000 invested into all of these ETFs in total. And if I were to sell out of all of them, I would make $17,000. But the difference here is that once these get paid off, then that distributions that are coming in will increase, and therefore will start moving this today's gain and loss higher and higher, and therefore increasing that percentage as you see to the right there. These high yield ETFs, because we are getting paid back our capital from the distributions, it's helping to lower how much we actually have invested, and then therefore increasing that total distribution amount, and that only helps to increase how much we would actually make if we were to sell everything. But good thing here is we don't have to sell anything, and we're still earning some very nice distributions. And that's why I do like these high yield ETFs, but you do have to be very careful of how you play these. Because if you do not play them correctly, you can ruin your account, or you can definitely be taking some big losses. So join my Discord. Would love to see you over there, where you can get this sheet along with any of the other stock purchases, stock prices, or anything like that that I am also into. I'm posting those on my Discord channel just for your viewing pleasure. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. It would be very much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.